All right. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It is now Tuesday, early Tuesday morning. It is about 12:52 a.m. late. June the 20th, 2023. And I'm going to give you guys my quick market review after a long holiday weekend. And I'm just going to look at the regular indexes first. Right now, I have up on my screen the daily chart of the S&P 500. And what I'll point out is where we are now, and then I'm gonna show you guys a longer term chart, the monthly charts. We'll do that last to show you guys what the overall look, how the overall long term outlook looks as we as it stands right now. But in the here and the now in the near term, we see that there was a strong markets had pretty good rally for quite a bit, but looking at this candle that formed on Friday, it looks like we are possibly heading in reverse. And with this strong move that we've seen continue up since March of this year, and we look at a bigger picture, this daily chart, the market is still seeing a little bit of strength and trying its best to maintain this move up way back from October. So we see this move up since October. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So we're seeing a general move up in market since October, general move up with a couple drawbacks, small drawbacks here, there. And honestly, I think we're about to have another similar drawback. I don't think the markets are ready to really come back all the way back down to those October lows just because of the strength that we've seen in this market. I'm going to show you what the longer term charts look like here in a second to show you why I have this feeling that we could eventually still go higher. But right now, right here now, I do think that it is time for a pullback. All the technicals point to a pullback. You have this big divergence or the big, should I say, space in between the 50-day, the moving average, 20 per moving average. That is. So there's space in between the 20 per moving average and price action. So that will lead me to believe that we're going to see a drawback at least to the moving average. So looking at the S&P, we could see a move back to this level of support right around here, at least that level of support. That will take price action right back down towards 4,200 from where we are now. So that is a possibility. And right now we're trading right around, close the business on Friday, right around 44.09, 44.09. So we could see markets start to move back over the next week or two. And because we had so much of a rally, pull back at least around this level. So close to 4,200, somewhere around here. So that's what I would expect to see. In the near term, if you look at the full stochastics, we are in overbought territory. It looks like we are starting to hinge out of the overbought territory with this green crossing below the red. Looks like it's starting to hinge back, trend back downward, showing a sell signal. And Williams percentage, we're starting to oscillators starting to head lower out of the overbought territory, and CCI like it's not far behind. So in near terms, like we are looking for a possible pullback. It's been a strong run, as you can see by looking at the TTM squeeze. It's been a strong one for quite a bit, and it's like we could start to see some pullback from these levels. That's the daily chart of the S&P. Let's take a look at the daily chart of the Dow Jones. Dow Jones, same scenario. Right back up to a level of support on the Dow. Right back up to a level of support, a level of resistance. It's like we are ready to start to hit lower. You look at the Williams percentage, oscillators starting to hinge lower. Full stochastics, oscillators starting to hinge lower. CCI in overbought territory, like it's about to trend lower as well. That's the daily chart of the Dow Jones. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ, which is the one that's been powering everything higher because of this AI craze. And NASDAQ has been on a tear, overshooting this level of resistance. Shot right through that level of resistance, went much higher. Now I do think we're about to tap out. Look at the oscillators in the full stochastics, like it's ready to start to trend lower. Wins percentage ready to start to trend lower out of overbought territory. CCI starting to hinge. See this hinge starting to happen in CCI, starting to hinge lower. So we could see some, definitely see some pullback here for sure. And I think the NASDAQ has much more room to pull back to. I think we're going to probably push right back below this level of resistance and probably end up somewhere around here, somewhere in the middle here. So I do think we could head lower, break through this level of support and head just a little bit lower. So we have to see what happens over the next couple of weeks. But I do think we're going to first tap this level of resistance first, level of support first. Former resistance becomes support. So this level, first level is going to be support. It's right around 13,130. All right, let's take a look at the, look at the NASDAQ, the Russell, I'm sorry, NASDAQ, S&P, and the Dow Jones. Take a look at the Russell. Russell, same case scenario. Again, look down below, look at the oscillators and the wins percentage starting to hinge lower from the overbought territory. It's full stochastic starting to hinge lower from the overbought territory, and CCI has an actual sell signal and it's starting to head lower as well. And Russell was trading right around the level of resistance. So I guess not going to be able to tap higher and get up to these levels just yet. But I do think that is a possibility, folks, in the future that we could see these markets head a little bit higher. I'm going to show you guys what the monthly charts are showing us here in a second. But I do think it is time for a reversal in price action. All right. So those are our major indexes with the near-term charts. We was to glance real quick at a weekly chart of the Russell. If you look at the CCI, look at that wide divergence here in CCI and oscillators. That is a definite bearish signal. So we're definitely going to see, definitely shows you that there's a stronger possibility of a reversal in price action. And if I was looking at the Dow Jones, it's pointing up, there's a divergence. I mean, there's a space between this line and the CCI, green line and the yellow line. So we could see that's also start to hinge lower. And look at the candle that we got on last Friday. Stop right at a level of resistance. This is a weekly chart, folks. We're looking at weekly chart of the S&P. Pop just above a level of resistance. And let's switch to a daily chart of the VIX. Show you guys what's happening there. And the VIX has just been getting pummeled in a nutshell. It's just getting pummeled. Every time it finds a bid, it pushes lower. Look at the wins percentage. Punched lower. Wins per CCI is still around the oversold territory. But I do think we will see a bid in the VIX eventually, and I do think that the VIX, folks, it's very interesting what's happening with the VIX because it's not really coincide with everything that we see in market action. When the market was up, one time the VIX was up, and when the market was down, the VIX was also down. So VIX is doing some weird stuff, but I do still think that the VIX could see a move up towards this moving average, at least towards this moving average, which would take it right around $16. But we could go even a little bit higher than that, depending on, how things shake out on this coming week. And ultimately, I think we could get right up at right around $17 right around this level, this area of support or resistance, should I say. So look out for that as we head into next week. Now, I want to draw your attention to this is a weekly chart of the VIX too. I'm sure how oversold it is too as well, which leads me to believe we can definitely see some type of bounce, a significant bounce in the VIX here in the near future. CCI in oversold territory on the weekly. Full stochastic has been in oversold territory for quite a while, and full stochastics been in oversold territory for quite a while too. That is on the VIX weekly chart. Now I want to show you guys something on the monthly chart real quick because it's showing us that we could definitely see higher prices in the market. I'm going to switch to a monthly chart of the S&P real quick to show you guys something before I head out. Switch to a monthly chart. So there's been some strength. I mean, you can't deny it, but there's been some strength in this overall market. The price action steadily showing some upward strength and trying not to come back to these lows of October of 2022. And we're steadily starting to head higher in the monthly chart, broke out of this consolidation or this tight spot here and is now higher, well above all of this level of resistance. Look at this big green candle we see formed in June. So we're above this level of resistance. We could see a pullback to support, but then we could see it move higher. I do think that is a strong possibility before we see any before the end of this year, before we see some major moves lower. But I still think that this bear market is not over. Overall, I do think we have a possibility to eventually tap these highs. That is a possibility. Let's see what happens during this pullback that we probably about to experience. You look at the full stochastics under the monthly chart. It's still showing strength. Its percentage still showing some strength. CCI is showing some strength, but there's starting to be a wide divergence between the green and the yellow line, which could be a sign of a bigger pullback overall. But I do think we're going to see some pullback here in the near future, maybe back to a level of support. But I think after that, we could see another strong bounce. And, as we head towards the end of the summer, we could see a bounce and we could eventually, folks, find a way to tap this high that we've seen back in October 2021, around October or beginning of 2022. And that would form a double top, folks, in this overall bear market. That would form a double top. If we do hit this level, I don't think we're going to just punch right through it. I think we're going to see some pullback, and that could be significant. So keep that in mind as the market still shows strength, but we're going to see probably see a near-term pullback. But if markets start to show strength after this near-term pullback, and we get a big move up, we could try to take out or at least tap this ultimate high that we've seen back in 2021. And I think that would be a definite sign of a double top and probably experience a major pullback from that point. We got to see how it plays out. Now, if we was to look at the other indexes, you would get the same feeling. Here's a monthly chart of Dow Jones. And the Dow Jones has not yet did what the S&P has done to break above all this strong level of resistance here. So I do think that's going to happen eventually. And it wouldn't take much for the Dow Jones to pop up to this 36,000, almost 37,000 level once we get above this level of resistance that we've been still stuck below. So again, near-term pullback, but then I think we're going to see it move higher and maybe make an attempt to run towards the high of this index, creating a double top, which would more than likely be a strong sell signal. Take a look at the NASDAQ monthly chart. The NASDAQ monthly chart is very interesting because it looks the strongest of the bunch. Not quite in overbought territory on the full stochastics, are in overbought territory on wins percentage, and overbought territory on the CCI, with a wide divergence between the green line and the yellow line, which signaled to me a possible pullback in the near term. And again, we breached a level of resistance on this NASDAQ monthly chart. And actually, we also broke above the 50-day moving average. So that is pretty significant, with the TTM squeeze still showing momentum to the upside on the monthly chart. So if we do experience any pullback here, which I do think we will, more than likely this level of where price action broke out above is going to act as a level of support. Then we can see it move higher. Again, it would not shock me, folks, even while as we still talking about recession and bear market, it would not shock me for a lot of greed to step in and push this market much higher, making an attempt to touch this high that we didn't see, haven't seen since October 2021. Well, that would create a strong double top formation, and then only from double tops you normally see some type of reversal pattern. So we got to see how this play out. So we could see a strong move back up to this level, and then do we pull back? If we hit this double top, if we do hit this price action, do we get a strong pullback like we had before? Time will tell. We've got to wait and see how this play out. But in the near term, I still think we're going to see some type of pullback here, and then look for prices to find support. Last but not least, Russell monthly chart, same thing. And Russell monthly chart is the one that really is convincing me that we could see price action go higher eventually, because Russell has been stuck below a strong level of support for quite a bit, and it's like it's ready to break out of that level. Right, this level right here, and Russell is now threatening to break above that 50-day moving average. The Russell breaks above this 50-day moving average, folks. That's just a sign that this run up could gain some momentum, could gain some legs. Look at the strong action in the CCI starting to turn up from the oversold territory on the Russell's monthly chart. Wins percentage looks very strong. CCI looks very strong. I mean, full stochastic looks very strong. So if we see any type of pullback here, and we could actually pull back to threaten this low. So we got to see what happens. What happens over this next week or two? Do we pull back to this low and bounce, or do we drop below it? If the Russell drops below it, then all bets are off from that scenario I just talked about, all other markets. But I think this Russell is going to be a gauge as to what the overall market is going to do. So there's a huge possibility we see a slight pullback, and then we could see a bounce. And again, there's a strong possibility that before this year is out, we could make a run and tap these all-time highs and then pull back. All right. One more thing we'll take a look at is the SPXA 200R, which is the percentage of stocks trading above the 200-day moving average. And this also is showing a bit of strength in this month. So we're in pretty much a zone, in this zone. Pull back to the bottom of the zone here, and then we got a big green candle here that's starting to form this monthly chart. So we could see a slight pullback. This big green candle is pretty much larger than the little red candle that was before it. So could this be a signal that we could definitely see overall momentum shift, sentiment shift to a bullish state? That is a huge possibility. Could we see a move all the way back up to this 97%? That is a huge possibility. But it's like if you guys been following me about this tool, every time we've got this high, we've seen major drawbacks. So that's what makes me believe that we could definitely see a run up towards the test that level. And that would create a double top. Then I do think if we do hit that level, we should more likely to see a major pullback. So, okay, folks, the next couple of months is definitely going to be interesting. This next two weeks should be interesting to see if volatility kicks in and definitely give us strong pullback from these high levels. And then we have to see if support is found quickly and we get that quick reverse like I do think is possible. All right, folks, that is all I have for you guys for this weekend, for this week. Enjoy the rest of your week, folks. Hope you guys have an awesome trading week. And depending on how things shake out, if I have any interesting setups that I'm looking at, I will pop back in there sometimes on the week and let you guys know what the markets are showing us. Enjoy the rest of your night, folks, and in your morning.